Environmental activists have launched a campaign in Cape Town against what they call corporate bullying. They're lobbying for legislation against the practice dubbed SLAPP Suits. Those are lawsuits brought by big corporates aimed at silencing critics by burdening them with legal costs. Well, for more on this story, we cross to our reporter, Vanessa Poonah, who's outside the court for us. Vanessa, what's the latest where you are?
Yes, good morning to you. Here at the High Court in Cape Town, counsel for the environmental activists have begun asking essentially the court to order the company which has brought defamation suits against a number of activists to force them to hand over documents which they will need when their matter gets to trial. Now, one of the activists who have been sued in her personal capacity is environmental activist Tracy Davies, and she joins me now. Tracy, very warm good day to you. In a nutshell, you're also an attorney, so perhaps you can just let us into the legal intricacies in terms of what exactly is happening in court today. My layman understanding of the law is that you're asking the court to order the mining company in particular, which brought this suit against you, to make available documentation. Which documents are you asking for?
Yeah, so during the discovery process, after we were sued, we asked the mining company to disclose all sorts of information relating to their environmental authorizations, their mining rights, basically all the legal permits that allow them to operate. And in many instances, they are refusing to give us those documents. Their argument is that because this is a defamation case, we are not entitled to those documents because we have to prove all by ourselves the truth of what we said. Our counsel, Jeff Budlander, is arguing that this is a constitutional case. It's a freedom of speech case. It's also about academic freedom. We gave the lecture on the basis of which this whole case turns to a lecture at the summer school at UCT, and that the constitutional right of freedom of expression means that we are entitled to the documents that will enable us to defend ourselves at trial.
Let's perhaps just take it back, Tracy. During this lecture at UCT, can you give us an indication as to what exactly was said? And I'm going to ask you what you said in particular, which resulted in this defamation suit or case against you.
So the lecture overall was about the impacts of development on our environment and people, and I spoke more generally about, more specifically, about this particular mine on the west coast at Torman and issues relating to the legality of its operations. And so as a result of that, we were subsequent, it was not just me, there were other people who've also been sued in this case, relating to issues like the collapse of a cliff at the operation, expansion of the footprint of the mine, and various permits and authorizations that mining companies need in order to operate legally. And so there had recently been a High Court case. There was lots of media about this company's operations, whether or not they were operating legally in very many areas, and that's what I spoke about. And it was on that basis that I've been sued.
Now the campaign being launched, or the campaign that has been launched, basically calling for all civil society organizations to come together under one umbrella to fight what you term corporate bullying, does not just apply then to the group of this environmental activists. It has wide-reaching implications for the freedom of speech, for the right of activists, media, etc., to be able to bring across your point of view, to be able to criticize when you believe that laws have been broken or so.
Absolutely. And, there's a global surge in intimidation and harassment and even murder of environmental activists. These are people who are saying, we're protecting our land. We are speaking out to prevent rampant degradation of our land. And in South Africa, there are mining communities all across the country who suffer terrible harassment and intimidation simply by expressing that the mine that is operating near them is causing them difficulties. We are all people who passionately believe in South Africa. We love our country, its people, and its magnificent natural resources. And in circumstances where, unfortunately, the government just hasn't done enough to protect those resources, it's up to us to speak out. And that's what we're doing. And what we're saying with this new campaign is that we shouldn't be punished. We shouldn't be dragged to court for speaking out and expressing a desire to protect our natural heritage.
So, Tracy, you're asking for the documents so that you can prepare a case to prove that the company in particular may have broken environmental and mining laws. Do we understand that this is exactly what you're asking for today? And can we expect a judgment in this matter as soon as the end of this day?
That is correct. That's what it's about. In all civil proceedings, there's a discovery process where each side has to give the other side all documents relevant to their respective cases. That's what we're arguing today, as I said before. The legal arguments are quite complicated. I think it's unlikely we'll get a judgment today, but hopefully it won't take too long.
Thank you very much. Tracy Davies, there, of course, one of the environmental activists who are being sued by a mining company operating a mine at the West Coast, near Lutzville on the West Coast. And, of course, three of the activists today in court asking the court to order that the company in question makes these documents available to them as they prepare for their defamation case, which is due to get underway within the next couple of months, perhaps. We don't know, because some of them have not yet received any dates with regards to trials. But this is what they're asking for, saying that the implication does not just at this point in time affect them, but whatever ruling, whatever the outcome of this defamation case, and of course even their request here at this court today, could have an impact on freedom of speech and the right of civil society to make their voices heard.
Thanks for that, Vanessa.